Hi, everybody. I'm Candid Frank. That's Gary Groob. And we have Owen Hiltz of the Toronto Rock, who's taking a little bit of time before he has to do some coaching. Owen, thank you for coming here. I really appreciate you being here. We do.
Of course. Thank you.
Well, okay. We always start with the first question. How did you pick up a stick?
Coming from Peterborough, lacrosse, it's lacrosse heavy, and Hiltz family. I'm sure you guys know the name. Kind of just was given to me as soon as I was born. As soon as I could walk, I was holding the stick, just out there walking around playing. I think we called it Timbits lacrosse or something like that, and jerseys were all scraping the floor. So, but yeah, just like a family thing. That's kind of how I got into it.
All right. So that's how you got into it. But what kept you in it?
Probably family. Mom had to work a lot, so the grandparents kind of had to take over when I was younger and take me to practice and sometimes some games here and there, and they always kept me involved. And then my grandfather was a trainer. My uncle was a coach for the junior team, so I was always around them. And I was like a rink rat. I was always around the rink with the stick and just throwing the ball off the wall, even if I got told otherwise.
Now you're a big rat at the rink. You're a coach too. What brought you into coaching?
Yeah, the Toronto Rock, we just do. They give the players some opportunities to make some extra money and give back to the community, and um, coach Mondays, Sundays, and Thursdays are the usual times, just for the younger kids, and then we coach U17, U21s Monday nights. So it's good stuff.
What do you take from being a player and coaching? When you're coaching, is there anything that just get us inside the bubble of being a coach and a player?
Well, for these guys, it's more just like kind of giving them a guideline and helping them out with like little things. I remember when I was that age, coaches, you always had one coach that was way too talkative and did too much, and you kind of didn't really want to listen too much. And then you had the other coaches that were kind of small little things here and there and let you play and let you learn. And, you know, having both is good. So there's a couple different styles when we're out there coaching, and I think it's good for the kids.
What I'm hearing is at some point you have to get out of the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, you growing up in Peterborough, who do you say would be your earliest role models towards gearing you up to where you're going?
Um, yeah, Uncle Joe, Uncle Jer, my mom, kind of the family, very early. And then when I started watching games at the Mem Center, it was more like Shawnee Evans, John Grant Jr., those kind of guys. Those were the legends, and they still are legends in the area. So
Right.
yeah,
That's
those are
that's
always
one of the
fun.
things about in the Peterborough area, though. Is there's still all the legends around all the games, and still very accessible to pick their brain or to get a story or whatever. When you were younger, was that still really appealing? Because I know now I can listen for hours and listen to Johnny Davis go and listen to John Grant Sr. go. And
Yeah, so actually, I had senior as my coach for a couple years when I played minors. So I got plenty of the stories early, and yeah, it was always fun listening to kind of how those guys grew up compared to. It was just a lot different back in the day. So um,
right,
they're always trying to tell us to do one thing, and then it's a new age and new era. So you kind of gotta get them back into this is a new game kind of mindset, and it's hard for them, but they adapt because they're legends of the game. So
Hmm. Right. What was the moment that you realized as you're coming up that this could be a career, not just a passion?
I think I don't know, whole life I always wanted to play for the Peterborough Lakers. So
Mhm.
the NLL kind of wasn't really a crazy thought, just because um, the closest team was the Rock, and that's still like a good 2 hours with
Right.
the traffic. So didn't really get many of those games in, but every Thursday in the summer, um, you're down at the Mem Center if you could, and that's just kind of who you like. That's the jersey you wanted to wear growing
Right.
up.
And it's funny because Peterborough is the same as Orangeville in that regard. You know, that it was more important to make the team locally than it was for any other thing growing up in the area.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
That's definitely true.
right. Now, with the whole Peterborough area, what do you think separates that program so much that it put up so many stars over the years, as opposed to Brampton or even Orangeville or something like that? What makes Peterborough so special?
Um, it's a good question. I think it's just a smaller city. So you grow up with these guys. You go to high school, with most of them. You play your whole life with them, and um, eventually, you guys are all in the same junior team. For the most part, I know nowadays, like these days, there's lots of trades and whatnot, and you get a bunch of guys from out of town. But um, those earlier, like 2010 to 2015, those junior A teams were all local guys, and
Right.
um, playing with a couple of them 2 summers ago with the Lakers, they tell stories about how they all played with each other the whole year and every year, and then they got the junior, and everything was already clicking because that's just how the lacrosse world works in Peterborough.
Right. Let's move on into high school. And you went over to Culver Academy, which was one of the top prep programs in the U.S. What led you into there first off, and what got you hooked up with Culver?
So there's a couple Peterborough guys that um, attended before me. Um, Courier, Walker,
Hmm.
um, Trolley, and Mike Robb. And Mike Robb was still there. He was there for a year before I got there, and the coach always comes down to qualifiers and scouts out some Canadians, and saw me and um, knew Courier and those guys, so got my number and
Right.
gave me a call and asked if I wanted to just come take a visit at the school,
Hmm.
and took a visit. It's a beautiful school, not a great city, it's in the middle of nowhere, but
Right.
I think that's good for kind of the school it was.
Hmm.
More of a military school and leadership. So,
Sure.
but yeah, went there, did the visit, um, really enjoyed it. Then the following year, um, was shipped off.
All right. Well, you put up monster numbers while you were there, and you were ranked as top inside the cross power 100. What was the biggest lesson you learned while you were there in those years?
Probably um, like leadership stuff. You know, um, our coach was big on making sure you do the right thing at the right time, all the time. Off the field, on the field, um, cleaning up after others, making sure you leave the place cleaner than you found it, and stuff like that. And I think that kind of translates to in the game when you're getting sloppy and whatnot, you can kind of fall back on those kind of principles that were set, and then you can kind of get back on track.
Right. Now, they also played a national schedule, which helped you get ready for college and that kind of spotlight. Um, did that work well into your favor early on, or did it just kind of adjust as you went along?
What, the adjusting to college or just
Yeah, well, the schedule that you were playing in high school, getting you adjusted to that kind of idea for college.
yeah, no, it was perfect because the Midwest, there wasn't too many powerhouses,
Mhm.
maybe like two or three, but the travel is uh kind of the biggest prep, I would say, in like the competition. Going playing the best teams, and you're gonna have to travel for some of the games. That's just like college. Not every game's a home game, so
Right.
um, and yeah, just on the road all the time. Still doing the right things and making sure you're still dialed in to play.
Sure. Now, here's my question to you. You committed to Denver and you wound up going to Syracuse. What changed your mind before getting into Denver?
I would just say the distance, from Peterborough,
Mhm.
it's pretty far, and uh, family's a big thing, and going away from high school is tough. They didn't really get too many games, even when I was in high school, so
Right.
um, Cuse is 4 hours from home, and it's just a drive away, and I think I got almost every member of my family down to at least two games, and it was
Right.
awesome.
Let's talk about the Syracuse in general, like a story program. Gary Gate is your coach, of course. Let's talk about walking in first off in your rookie year and looking around and you're here. And what's the feeling?
Yeah, it's cool. So at Cuse, you don't actually like the dome isn't really you don't play there every day kind of thing.
Right.
So that's a whole different story. But even just going in and just like setting up in the locker room, seeing your name in the locker. Um, they got multiple names above um, for guys who wore your number in past who have donated back to the program.
Right.
You get to see all the past players and all that stuff, and there's murals all over the walls and of them hosting the trophies and all the ACC titles and all that stuff, and it's just like you're here, you made it, kind of thing. But first practice starts, and it's you got to make your own kind of
Right.
legacy.
Right. We've had a few of the major guys. We had Roy Simmons Jr. on and talking about as the program developed. Mikey Powell, who actually was more into winning an NCAA championship than pros because he really lost interest once he won his championship at Syracuse. But his days at Syracuse was be all end all. Did you get the same feeling when you were there in the university?
Yeah, I mean, when you're there, it goes by quick, but you're there with 50, 60 of your best friends. Every day you go out for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then you gotta do lift after practice, and you're always hanging out, and it's just like you become family, and um, when you spend so much time with those kind of guys, you want to do everything you can to make it right and write a good path, and um, so it was always just compete and
Right.
always wanted to be at the top.
No, you set a program record, having a point in every single game. How do you stay mentally locked in? At this stage, everybody is talented. How do you stay mentally locked in to be that good all the time?
Um, I wouldn't really think it's much. we just had a very good offensive coordinator who kind of throughout the week we would do different things, game plan for games, and he would really dissect the defense and kind of find openings. And he threw me into a position where kind of I'd be either making a play or putting the ball in the net, and um, it kind of just went from there.
Right. Well, you talk about growing with the program. You got to wear the C as a co-captain in 2025. Talk about getting that honor bestowed upon you.
Yeah, it was awesome. It's always a good feeling when the guys vote you for a captain. They see you as a leader and someone that they can trust. It just kind of boosted some confidence and um, allowed me to speak up more. I think I
Right.
wasn't very vocal. Still not very vocal. I don't really like to talk, but when the C was put on, sometimes you got to take actions um, into your own matter and kind of set stuff straight and let the boys know. So,
Right.
and I felt like like almost every guy would never take it with a grain of salt or would never take it, to heart.
Hard.
Yeah.
And they'd always take it with a grain of salt. And uh, it was just a good relationship that I had with the rest of my teammates.
Right.
I am a firm believer that captains don't need to talk. So it's not unusual that you would say that and have a chance to be successful at it because it's more about what you do than what you say. I mean, what you say is just a point at what you do. It's what you do that matters as a captain, I think. You have to lead the team and show them how to play. And then when you talk, it's if they'd have a question and to explain to them why they're doing or why you expect them to do something. Is that fair?
That's exactly right on. I was more of a uh, lead by example, kind of on and off the field. Um, you know, on the field, always working hard, trying to do the right things. Even if I mess up, not getting down on myself, kind of staying in the play and waiting for the next opportunity. So,
The less you say, the more the point gets made. Is my take on stuff like that. Because the more, remember, you were talking about coaches who talk and talk and talk. You lose track of what they're trying to tell you because there's just too much to hear. It has to be more. I think athletes need this simple approach. The more complicated the conversation gets, the more you might lose them.
yeah, I can agree with that. That's for sure.
All right. Let's let's move on towards the pros and the PLL. First off, comes knocking. Drafted 8th overall by Carolina. What was draft night like?
It was awesome. We had a couple other guys that were. Uh, we had a kind of team watch party, um, and Sammy went 3, and the boys went nuts. I went 8, and then there's 2 more guys that went in the later rounds, and the whole team was juiced, and it was awesome to kind of experience that with all my teammates.
Right. My favorite question, and it goes for NLL or PLL, is your first training camp. Was it what you expected?
So for the PLL, I didn't have the training camp. So the NLL, yeah, definitely was what I was expecting.
Hmm.
Um, I played in the sixes tournament with a bunch of the guys, and
Right.
they were all, "You ready for training camp afterwards?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm super pumped." They're like, "It's a grind. You're gonna. It's no cakewalk. You're gonna have to compete all the time." And that's pretty much what it was. So it was a lot of
Right.
fun though, and um, it was a good time to kind of get to know all the guys.
Right. You're kind of in a little bit of a rebuilding chaos because all the Buffalo Bandits that had been on there had gone over to Six Nations to play MSL. So, the guys like Dane Smith and Josh Byrne weren't there, but you still had a good nucleus and a good core, and you fit right in because you had some fantastic games last summer, getting acclimated to the PLL. Did it look, it looked like you got in fairly easy. Was it as easy as you made it look for us watching?
Um, I would say it wasn't as easy, but just having the group of guys that I had kind of made it a little easier. Not too many guys were like hardos or were on you for the little things. There was a bunch of goofballs and guys that like to have fun, so it kind of played into my game a little bit, and
Hmm.
just kind of go out there and ball out.
Right. Now, being at the professional level on both ends, field and box, are you more accustomed to playing by feel and box, or being scripted and blueprinted in field? What works better for you? What is easier?
I think it's like the field game comes easier as I have the like knowledge and experience from the box game. Um, I kind of do a little bit different things than most of the Americans. Like all the Canadian guys, were good inside and we're good with the ball in our stick. So that's one thing that not too many Americans are very very excellent at, and that's kind of my real take. The box game, just it's so easy to get into the field one, just because
Hmm.
you don't have to be the guy who dodges every time or the guy who makes the first play.
Right.
You can be that second guy who's you know either shooting the ball or making another play or cutting through the middle and finishing on the crease. You don't have to be the superstar change of direction dodger.
Sure, sure. The one thing that came across, especially in the Toronto Rock preseason, was, well, one was your speed, but number two was just an absolute dynamite shot. Have you always had that shot, or have you worked really hard to just build on that?
Um, I think just at a young age, I had pretty good coaches. Did those legends, Shawnee and those guys used to run a camp, and I've always there's been one thing that stuck with me the whole time that I've learned from there. It's get your feet set before you shoot. So when the ball's in the air, if your feet are set, then you can shoot it faster, and that just kind of allows you to shoot the ball without the goalie being fully set. And all you really need is just a quick look at the net, see where the goalie's not, and you just got to shoot it there.
Right. A couple of the goalies that I know that have faced you have showed me welts. So they're probably the hardest shot that they faced, which is a testament to your abilities.
Yeah, I can let it fly a little bit. Um,
But I see the one thing also that comes across is that the speed that you have works both ways, and you set the teams up for a lot of uneasiness because they're not quite sure where you're headed, and that kind of hustle is always there. And part of the youth movement of the Rock now is a lot of that, and it looks like the tempo is much higher than it's been over the last few years.
yeah, us young ones in the lineup definitely brings up the compete level, and I'd say kind of the overall athleticism. Um, our our roster is full of athletes, guys who grind it out every day. We're always working when nobody's looking, and it kind of shows on the floor. You can see other teams get a little gassed, and we're still moving. And I think it plays into kind of an advantage for us, and especially on the O end when um, you got CJ,
Right.
Kreger, myself, Chow, just beasts. Like the whole offense, just guys that are um, conditioned very well and know how to use their strengths. It kind of just when you have the two youngsters up there, just always moving, it
Right.
gets those guys a little bit more tired in the back end, and uh, throughout the game, it shows.
Definitely. And also having having a healthy Mark Matthews never hurts to be the quarterback of everything there.
Yeah, a healthy Mark Matthews is it's your best friend.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Who took you under their wing when you first got into camp?
Um, Chow, Dan Craig, most of the guys were all supportive, and everybody gave tips and kind of feedback every day. So I think just like the whole offensive unit as a whole.
Right.
Um, but yeah, Doss was very good. Very good. He's a good leader, good role model, and great coach. So
Right.
he was good at getting, you know, you're not a rookie, like you're here to play,
Right.
kind of thing. Like
Right.
it's
I
like
had
you,
I had Josh Dalwick on not long ago, and Josh and I go back way back from the time when he was a little kid, sitting watching the games, and he talks about his relationship with Dan Dawson. And do you have the same eye to eye level of ideas with him? Because the offense runs really smoothly.
yeah, I think. Well, he's one of the best.
Yeah.
So and um, he usually draws up something, and it's all right. Let's do it because there's really no question to it. But if you see something and you let him know, he'll uh, he'll think about it, and he'll usually incorporate your thoughts and your ideas, and it's
Right.
pretty good.
Who's your favorite offensive person to work with? You see all the time. We saw Josh with Chris with Bushi. We see Mark and Chell always back and forth. You you and CJ, I think, have a pretty good chemistry on either side.
Yeah, I think CJ just because we're both the rookies, and um, I went to school with his brother for a year, so
Mhm.
I kind of knew CJ a little bit before getting into to camp and all that, and
Right.
he's just such a unique character, always energetic, always pumped up, um, just an absolute grinder and a beast on the floor, and I think just having kind of guy like that kind of pushes you even harder, and um, it's fun to play with.
Right. Let's talk about you have the practice facility, of course, the track, and you guys have the state of the art facility where you've got the floors. Of course, you're doing all the coaching and stuff like that, but you have all the amenities. You've got the rehab center, you've got the gym, you've got the ice tubs. Everything is there at your disposal, as opposed to other teams that have to go all over the place. Talk about the organization in its whole and how you've kind of accustomed yourself into it now.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I remember I came to take some shots with Dan in the summer before the draft, just because they wanted to see, just because I haven't played in a while, and
Right.
Dan kind of wanted to see me shoot. But he showed me around the track, and I was like, I thought I was back in college because of the facility. They got the hot tub, the locker room right there. Rehab. Um, the two turf fields or the pads.
Mhm.
That's just it's kind of what you find in college,
Right.
especially that we just get free access to use it pretty much whenever we want, and it's awesome.
Right. How do you handle the pressure as expectations grow? Because as this team is starting to build, you can feel it around the city They're starting to be compared a little bit to, the early 2000s and teams like that. And there's such a long lineage of history on this team, and to keep yourself and everybody around you grounded.
We just lean on each other when the times get tough. It's kind of how the best teams are. Someone's not pulling their slack, somebody else picks it up, and it's just it's a team game. So you got to rely on your teammates at points, and um, we've had many meetings and we've had all the coaches talk about the best teams they've been on has been the tightest group, and I think that's kind of what we got right now. We got a really close group of guys, of individuals, and I think that we can lean on each other whenever we need.
It's almost you guys have almost a next man up mentality, because you haven't had a face-off guy all year yet. You're doing great on face-offs. You guys are new at the offensive thing, and you guys have gelled beautifully. Defensively, you had Nick go down with an injury in goal, and Troy has come in and it's been seamless, and he's looked better than he ever has. So it looks like everybody is picking everybody up in every category. Is it that feeling off the floor as well as on the floor?
Yeah, off the floor we were put in group chats, so um, for like workouts and stuff like that, keep each other accountable, and the group chat's always firing, and it just pushes you every day when you see somebody throw something in there, and
Right.
it's good.
Talk about a Tuesday night. You're going into practice and in with the team, and what's the main concern? What's the main thing that everybody's working on to get moving to the next level?
I think Tuesdays most guys get there around 5 hour before we have film. So we all just
Mm-hmm.
chat it up, get taped up, do whatever you need for the body, and then we have film and kind of just talk about um, stuff we did good, stuff we did bad, stuff we need to work on in practice, and then practice comes around and we kind of go out there, roll the ball around, and just go through our stuff and um, try to have fun with it.
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing is having fun is what you're supposed to be doing playing lacrosse.
Right. Now, in the Rochester game, I was up in the press box, and it looked like probably at halftime, everything clicked. The team that came out in the second half of that game is the team that I've continued to watch since then in the last couple of games, and you guys keep building onto the momentum. What was the thing that just put you all into that place? Because before that, you guys were building and a little bit off skelter and whatever. But once halftime hit from that Rochester game, the second half, you guys just absolutely took control. You guys took control in the next game, even though we didn't win against Georgia, and really, I think you should have won that. And then absolutely took it across on Ottawa this past weekend, and everything was working. What can you put your finger on what exactly was the thing that turned that everything went on the same page?
I don't know if I can really put my finger on something, but I think we're just there's yeah, that first half, whatever, can't go
Mhm.
back and change it. Now we gotta play even harder, and I think kind of that mentality is how we've kind of continued. Kind of play to that standard, and it's been showing these last couple games.
Right. Your next game, of course, is against Oshawa this weekend, and a nice home game to go with it. But this is a Oshawa team that's kind of underachieved, but has so much talent. What was the message that was brought to you on Tuesday about making sure that you don't kind of slip backwards and let them kind of soar? Because I think this is going to be a track meet. It's two very young squads against each other. They're raring to go.
Yeah, well, yeah, the one thing that's been said is that it's really hard to win in this league, and um, you can tell a lot of our games have been 1 goal games, and you can't really take a night off. Because if you take a night off, it's going to bite you in the butt.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you're a really good person to ask this question because you've played sixes and you've done it at the professional level with PLL. And with the Olympics coming around the corner and sixes as the mainstay, first of all, your opinion of sixes, imperative, and our program towards getting towards the Olympics.
Yeah, I think the sixes is it's cool, but it's a weird format. You put the ball in the net and then you got to sprint all the way back on defense, and I think it was just that they didn't want to play box lacrosse, I guess, in the Olympics, so they made this new game up, and
Kind of
but
shitty
it's
on the field.
good, it's fun. Um, it allows it's tough though because you only get 11 guys, so it's a really small team, and um, it's going to be a tough one to crack too.
Right. Now, at the Olympic level, do you think that our program is good enough that we should be able to sail up into the medals, gold?
Yeah, I think every time there's a competition, Canada Lacrosse, gold is the expectation, and
Yeah.
I'm positive that it's going to be the same thing when we get to the Olympics, and if it's not a gold, it's going to be a bust.
Right.
And I know that the staff is going to pick the right team, and going to do the right things, and it's going to be fun to watch and or play if I get the opportunity.
Right.
As someone who is very integrated into the game, family, all that stuff, right? What do you see that would help people who don't know the game understand it? Have you ever drilled down on that idea, how to get people interested? Because it's so natural to you, right? You were born, ready, already a player almost the moment you were born. Do you see the challenge that we have as far as lacrosse is concerned and making it popular? And is this Olympic experience going to help? And how?
Um, what I tell the young kids, like, they're like, yeah, I want to get started. It's like, go watch a game. Like, go watch how fun it looks. It's awesome. Box or field, whatever you want to watch. I think either or is very exciting, and it's a very entertaining game. And um, I've plenty of kids that have been like, "Yeah, I watched you for the first time. Now I'm gonna start playing." And I'm like, "Well, just stick with it. It's gonna suck for a bit, but stick with it, and it'll get fun."
Yeah,
Um,
the reason I was asking is because um, it sounded like you want to see box played. How much? Because one of the things Gary and I wonder about is how are we going to go from being at the Olympics, having a chance to have new people have eyes on it, and how do we take advantage as quickly and as easily as possible? Would you think that mentioning box lacrosse, mentioning field lacrosse as games, if you think this is good, wait till you check out box lacrosse. Should they do that? Like try to get people to see more than just the sixes, because there is not much to see sixes wise, right?
I think at the Olympics they should definitely mention like the other styles of lacrosse, especially because the sixes is brand new, and it's definitely not going to be perfected. I'd say by the time 2028 rolls around, but it'll be pretty entertaining and very, very well coached out. But if they just throw out there that there's more than just one style of lacrosse, you can watch. Because like a bunch of people love the box stuff because of how physical it is.
Yeah.
People love watching people get hit, and I'm sure if you just threw up some clips,
There you go.
or anything like that, highlights or war on the floor, just throw that up there, and I'm sure people will get fired up.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that the NLL will release some of the permission to show some of their footage if they need to. While they're showing the sixes, they should show field and they should show other lacrosse and let the people know that there's different versions of this. And I agree with you. I think there's a certain type of fan or player that is drawn to the physical nature of box lacrosse.
Yeah. That's a big thing. People love physical sports.
Right. They also love some of the other things, like you've been in the PLL with the All-Star game and all the skills and things like that. Do you think the NLL is missing the boat by not having an All-Star game, an All-Star weekend, and showing the skills and everything else now that they have ESPN and TSN in their corners, and they hope get that out?
No, I think nowadays the All-Star game is it's going downhill. You see it in all these other like sports. The Pro Bowl just happened for football, and I mean it's fun to watch, but it's not as entertaining. You don't get to see the compete or anything like that. You it's like fun stuff. Cool trick shots or like crazy checks or something like that. But I don't know if you could do that for the box. It's
Right.
People are wired different.
For me, it isn't just the physical part; it's the work part. It's watching guys work. The effort that the physical part is all a big part of it, but it's the effort as well that players have to make. To play the game, running up and down that floor. They're not on ice skates.
Yeah,
that's the part of box lacrosse that always amazes me is how well players can move around on the floor. And I always close one eye when I watch you guys fight, because you can plant your feet on the ground, and I'm saying to myself, "Oh God, something bad might happen here."
Yeah, I don't really know how that's still allowed, but it's part of the game. So
it has been for years and years and years.
I'm sure it's not going to go away either.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so either.
I said I had one eye open. I didn't close both eyes.
Ironically, the biggest viewing thing I had of a clip that I put up was I was at Rochester for the Hartley Demude fight, the goalie fight, and it got over 2 million views. So, yeah, people are interested in watching fighting still.
Yeah, I don't think that'll change.
Yeah, not anytime soon. Looking forward, I know you're just at the beginning of the career, but you talked about coaching. Is that something that intrigues you or interests you going down the road? So,
yeah, probably way down the road, but yeah. I'd like to get back and coach a little bit myself.
Right? Does it at your level here? Does that intrigue you to be something like a Dan Dawson or something like that down the road?
I mean, not at the moment, but I'm sure it might click one day.
Right.
You never really know what you want to do until you get there. So some days it just clicks and you want to do something else. But as of now, I'm not a crazy interest in that kind of stuff.
Sure. Now, with all this going on and with TV and everything like that and more money coming into the game, do you think that this is going to be a full-time gig for you or for guys down the road from you?
I think there's a big possibility with both leagues now that you can make enough money to be full-time lacrosse. You see some guys who play both, like plays Reardon. He plays the PLL, plays in the NLL, and then he runs a lot of clinics.
Right.
And I think he's lacrosse only. I'm pretty sure there's a handful of guys that are like that, and I think it's only going to get better and easier for guys to kind of do that. The more the sport kind of builds.
Right. Well, we got guys who coach at the Hill during the day too, right? The Jeff Teets and Riley O'Connors and guys like that, and then come in and play games. Working for Jamie also helps because there's other things other than just playing that come along, like coaching the junior stuff and things like that for track. So down the road, I think it's a little bit easier for you guys now as opposed to somebody who was 10 years ago trying to make a full-time career out of lacrosse. Am I on the money, you think?
Yeah, definitely. I've heard some slander around the locker room about rookie contracts way back in the day, and they're pissed. they're not happy about ours, but that's how it's a new day, you know.
We made $2 an hour when we started working, and guys are coming in now at $20 an hour, and that was a pipe dream when we started. So it's the same with everything else, right? So, we got to go with the times, and you take a look at the skill. You also take a look at the time that was invested that you have put in your lifetime to get where you are now. And when I was in music, they always told me, you never ever apologize for getting a big contract because no one was there when you were practicing and doing everything else for free. So, you always keep that mindset is that, yeah, you've earned it.
Exactly. That's a good point.
Now, I know you got to get out and coach in a few minutes, so I don't want to keep you too long. I just want to thank you for taking the time with us. I wish you the best of luck this week, and I wish you the best of luck in the season and with your career. And truly hope that we see a lot of you in the next number of years.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. I'd like to thank you as well, and also understand and know that the Toronto Rock as an organization and as a logo, if you will, carries a really heavy responsibility, and you wear it well. Congratulations on your career, and good luck with the coaching, and good luck playing for the Toronto Rock. I know there's a lot of pride in that room, and there's a lot of pride in the organization, and it's a pretty heavy banner to carry. So congratulations and good luck on carrying it.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Absolutely.
Yep. Thanks for watching, everybody. This is NLL Lacrosse Talk. We'll see you again next time.